Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We are doing a live show prediction show today instead of the usual pre-recorded show where I edited it up and all that sort of stuff. I thought I would bring it to you live. We'll test out the technology, see if we can't get it happening. And of course, we have the WAL 502. The card is happening in Maryland, Baltimore in 48 hours time from this moment right now. We're going to have some very, very interesting matches. The WAL season is starting to ramp up, and I am looking forward to seeing how this one plays out. It, of course, happens officially May 16th at 8 p.m., so make sure you are there. If you are local, if you are even close to local, you should be heading down there to see this one because the WAL is doing amazing work in terms of its production value right now, so you want to be part of that one. Now, very specifically, we want to get involved with the matches. Now, let's start with the first one, the ladies card, Angie Rose from Canada up against the United States of America's Michelle Dugan. For me, this match is a 50-50 call. I am struggling to come to a decision on this one. Both women look incredibly strong. I've met both of these ladies in person. I've seen both of them pull various athletes, and they are incredibly strong in their own respects. Both of these women have very strong hand and wrist, and I think this is where the match is going to ultimately be won. I have a gut feeling that Angie Rose is going to get the job done. She's a slightly taller person, and I believe that her hand and wrist will be able to get over the top of Michelle Dugan's. That being said, this is, of course, the best-of-5 round match, and when a match is so evenly balanced as I expect this one to be, we can anticipate that it's going to go down to the absolute wire, and this one will not disappoint. Ladies and gentlemen, my prediction for this one, Angie Rose v. Michelle Dugan, I'm going to go with a 3-2 on Angie Rose for the lady from Canada. Of course, I've had some very interesting run-ins with Canadians myself in a recent time, but on this circumstance, I am going to side with Angie from Canada. She is putting out trash talk videos at the moment, and she's looking fired up. She is there to rip heads off, using her words, at this event. So WAL 502 for Angie Rose should be a spectacular one. All right. Next match. Now, this match here, Paul Linn versus Paul Talbott. This is a very, very interesting match. We, of course, have the very experienced Paul Talbott. He is a hammer holder from the lightweight division who is now well and truly and firmly established in the middleweight division as well. He, of course, in the 2017 WAL titles, won the left arm, even though it wasn't broadcast on ESPN as it had been hoped. He still did win that tournament. Now, this is, of course, isn't a left arm match. If it was, Paul Talbott would be the out-and-out favorite. But in this circumstance, it's going to be a right-arm match. Now, interestingly, these guys have faced before. It was Arm Fights Unleashed in West Virginia last November. In November of 2018, these gentlemen did face. They were both weighing on that night about 220 pounds. So that was the big, healthy, full, happy versions of both of those guys, and it went to a 3-3 draw. Now, the interesting thing about that 3-3 draw that night was the way the strap was done. Travis Bagent was the referee, and Travis Bagent was stuck back in the 80s doing the strap the way that they used to do it there. He didn't do the fairest strap. The strap went straight underneath, and it made a significant difference. Whoever had the buckle on their hand lost that night, and that leaves a bit of intrigue as to what's going to happen at 502. Now, when I think back to that match, I was obviously there. I was filming the matches. I was watching them. I have to say that Paul Talbott put up slightly more of a fight than Paul Linn did when he was having the buckle. So, given the form that they were in last November, my gut feel would have to say that I believe that Paul Talbott just has a slight advantage in the power department. He is a tall man, Paul Talbott. I don't know how he ever got down to 165 pounds. He is a big human, and he's cutting down to the 210 catch weight that will be this tournament, WAL 502. Now, Paul Talbott, he wants to dominate the outside. Paul Linn, he wants to dominate the outside. Both guys have the ability to go into a hook comfortably if they have to, but I don't think either of these two guys are going to be looking to set the hook in round one. That's for sure. Round one, it's going to be very interesting. I anticipate a slip, nothing else other than a slip. Both guys posting up very high and very strong initially to just see who can get that hand and wrist dominance. And look, I think we're not going to get a very good indication in that first slip as to who's going to win. But what we are going to get an indication of is once we get strapped up in round one. In round one, will the buckle play a part? Maybe. I don't think it will this time. The fairer strap will be used, but it is still a slight advantage. Okay, so I think Paul Talbott wins round one in a war. The reason I think that is, I think he just has a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more experience on the big stage. Paul Linn on his side of the argument, he is on a faster and more steep trajectory in terms of his progress in the sport. He is, of course, the new kid on the block. He has been on the absolute rise. He's in his third year in the sport, coming in incredibly strong. He is a student of the sport and has dedicated himself to mastering it. He's been pulling every weekend, be it comps or training, for 2 years, and he is definitely ready to establish himself firmly among the elite of the sport. Now, can he do that against Paul Talbott? This is a big, big risk. My gut feel is, ladies and gentlemen, no. I think this goes 3-0 to Paul Talbott. I want to see it go to a battle, but my gut feel is Paul Talbott will get this done, largely because I believe he had that slight edge in power and also the big stage experience. That being said, Paul Linn, he is the man that has been proving everybody wrong, constantly taking names and constantly climbing that ladder. And look, I hope for Paul Linn's sake and the WAL's storyline sake that Paul Linn gets this done. But my gut feel is that Paul Talbott will take this one 3-0. All right. Now, that's a very interesting match for me. I really do love that match. Paul Linn is a great guy. Everyone is a big fan of Paul Linn. He is very active in the sport. He supports everything. And for him to be making his WAL debut is a thing that I think the entire arm wrestling community is happy about. Whether he wins or loses, he will be in the mix in the WAL on an ongoing basis because he is such an entertainer and a good arm wrestler. But unfortunately, Paul, I feel like Paul Talbott is going to get the job done. All right, next match. Let's go to Jerry Cadorette v. Ryan Espy. Of course, Jerry Cadorette from the United States of America, Ryan Espy from Canada. The second Canadian that will be featuring on the cards at this WAL 502. This is a tough match for Ryan Espy. Every day of the week, this is a tough match. Jerry Cadorette is a beast. We saw Jerry Cadorette be the only person, very unfortunately, like it's very debatable. Should Jerry Cadorette be holding the hammer right now? Some people will say yes. He, of course, beat Michael Todd last year. The only man to beat Michael Todd last year. Yet Michael Todd is the current holder of the hammers. And so that left a sour taste, I'm sure, in Jerry Cadorette's mouth from last season, from the 501 season. So Jerry Cadorette, I have no doubt that he wants the hammer for 502. He wants to prove that he is the man in the super heavyweight division in the WAL arena. And unfortunately, Ryan Espy is going to be the man that's in his way. Now, having said that, Ryan Espy is big right now. I was talking to Ryan Espy the other day. He is in the mid 350 pounds, and he is feeling tremendous. So when I analyze this game, for me, the only way Ryan Espy wins this one is if he can pull out a Travis Bajan-esque start. Okay, he needs to dominate the height, and he needs to be brave enough to commit the shoulder and actually come through with a press right from the beginning. He needs to take hand control, and he needs to press. If he just tries to top roll, it's not going to work. Jerry Cadorette will eat him for breakfast if Ryan Espy just simply tries to top roll. The fact that Michael Todd couldn't get through Jerry Cadorette through an outside move means that Ryan Espy will have zero chance of just flashing to the pad in the sense of a top roll. But does Ryan Espy have the ability and willingness and bravery to simply commit, take hand control, and commit his shoulder? Then we might see something. But if we do see that, let's say, I want to see a match again. I think Ryan Espy has the horsepower to do it. I don't know if he has the courage to actually commit the way he needs to. But if he does and takes a round, I think that Jerry Cadorette will have the ability to adjust. Jerry Cadorette will grip slightly lower, and he will dig in and get that match set. Think of the way that Jerry Cadorette took on Devin Larratt last year. Even though Devin Larratt was dominating the shoulder positions in many rounds, he was still able to aggressively drive off the start and force a hook. For me, this match is either a 3-0 or a 3-1 to Jerry Cadorette. I would love to see it go closer, but sorry, Ryan Espy. I think Jerry Cadorette is on a mission to get that hammer this year, and he is going to hold nothing back in this match. All right, the next match is a hammer match. This one isn't the main event, but it very well could be because there is a hammer on the line. Of course, we have the lightweight champion, Sam Harris. He is the current WAL lightweight champion. On the right arm, he is holding up that hammer. And Jeff Hale, the Hale Razor, Jeff Hale, is there to try and take it off him. Now, to me, this match, I think this match is just part and parcel, part of the process of telling the story of the season. I don't think there is a lot of threat on the hammer this time. Jeff Hale may be able to prove me wrong, but I just feel like Sam Harris is going to be far too good. The back pressure and the pronation that he has in the straps is going to be too much for Jeff Hale. Jeff Hale, yes, if he can force a hook, will be able to get the match done, but forcing a hook on Sam Harris right now is not an easy task. I had the pleasure of gripping up with Sam Harris on the practice table in West Virginia. I felt his back pressure. I felt his pronation in the straps, and it is very significant. Jeff Hale, speed is his weapon. Intimidation is his weapon, but it's going to be very hard to intimidate someone like Sam Harris, who is firmly sitting at the top of this lightweight division at the moment. And unfortunately for Jeff Hale, I think Sam Harris is well and truly confident, and on the back of that confidence, will get the job done 3-0. Now, Sam Harris, the interesting thing for me about this match, and again, please, it's no offense to Jeff Hale. I love Jeff Hale as an arm wrestler, but I think this is simply WAL getting the ball rolling. I think the real story in the WAL lightweight division is Sam Harris v. Tony Katowski. Tony Katowski, we saw him against Doug Elric at 501. He looked amazing. And I think that is where the true hammer match lies. Sam Harris, Tony Katowski. Plus, we've just seen the 503 announcements. The Jedi, Giannis Amelins. He is dipping his toes back in the water of the lightweight division. He is another person that could be in that hammer contest. But for now, let's focus on Sam Harris, Jeff Hale. I do think it will be a formality. Sam Harris 3-0. Jeff Hale, you're going to have to go back to the drawing board, my friend. Please prove me wrong. I love being proved wrong. But for this one, I am all about Sam Harris taking another title and retaining that hammer. Okay, so the big match. The big match, and the one that most people are interested in, is without a doubt Matt Mask v. Todd Hutchins. Now, Matt Mask, this is his kickoff match for the WAL season, for the 502 season, let's call it. And of course, we've already seen Todd Hutchins in action against Devon No Limits Lorette at 501 as part of the main event. Now, everyone on paper is saying that this is a horrible match for Todd Hutchins. Even Todd Hutchins himself said if he had to design an arm wrestler that was perfect to beat him, Matt Mask would be it. The explosivity of Matt Mask, the hand size, the leverage, it is all pointing to him having a lot of control of the hand and wrist. Now, Todd Hutchins is the kind of guy who doesn't really care about the control of hand and wrist. I've had debates with Todd Hutchins over the value of hand control versus side pressure, and he will flat out say that you don't need a hand to pin and get a victory in an arm wrestling, where you do need an arm. And one thing that Todd Hutchins has is an arm. We saw it in round 1 against Devon Larratt. Whether or not the referees agreed it was a pin, it was a pin. Let's face it. He pinned Devon Larratt off the start. From my view, I actually saw 3 pins happen in that match. Round 2, he almost pinned him again. So he has a lot of arm. Despite the hand control that Devon Larratt was taking off him, he had the arm to basically pin Devon Larratt multiple times. That's something that Matt Mask has never done. He has never been able to, on the big stage, pin Devon Larratt like that. And so Todd Hutchins, without a doubt, has the side pressure, even without the hand control. The one factor that is a problem for Todd Hutchins is the explosivity of Matt Mask. Matt Mask isn't a slow mover like Devon Larratt. He isn't the catch and squeeze kind of drain the life out of you vampire style that we know in Devon. Matt Mask is the wild horse. He is the guy that is absolutely belting people to the pad. He is so full of energy that when he hears that ready to go, Matt Mask will explode out of the blocks like nothing else, and Todd Hutchins is going to have to wear that. That's the big question. Does Todd Hutchins have the ability to wear such a hit? Look, if it was a 1-round match, I would say 0 chance of this going Todd Hutchins' way. I would say it'd be Matt Mask 1-0. See you later. Take it to the bank. Secure his houses. Bet your house on it. Whatever. I would very rarely bet against Matt Mask in a 1-round match. But there's something about Todd Hutchins over a 5-round match. There's something about him. We saw him do it against Barboza. Barboza, yeah, he's explosive. Yeah, he's strong. He's got a good hand. And Todd Hutchins caught his hit despite having no hand control and ground out a tenacious victory. Matt Mask, a little bigger, a little faster, a little more explosive, but a little less side pressure. So at the end of the day, Todd Hutchins has the ability, if this match stops, to dig out something horrendous. Now, it's going to hurt Todd Hutchins. It's going to really stretch his inner elbow. His hand is going to be gone. It's going to be swallowed up by Matt Mask. And we've seen Matt Mask do before, he's not going to sit there and just hit once. He will hit and hit and hit and hit. Mid-match hit. He will thrash. He will get hand control. He will regrip. He will hit again. It will not stop. It will be relentless, and Matt Mask will be hard to stop. So, after all of that, where do I come back to with this prediction? I have to agree. Matt Mask is the favorite. It's Matt Mask's match to lose. Devin Larratt said that his little brother, Matt Mask, was going to come and it was going to be worse for Todd Hutchins. I do feel that. I do feel that Matt Mask is the favorite in this circumstance, and he probably will be the man to take this one. But it is a scary thought betting against Todd Hutchins in this one. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I have a bad run of making predictions, and I have a feeling that if I try to be safe on this one, which I feel like I've been safe with every other prediction up to this point, I feel like I have been safe. If I try to be safe with this one, I feel like Todd Hutchins is going to call me up and say, Ryan, come on, man. Well, you let me down. I just beat Matt Mask and you couldn't see it coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. I'm going to go 3-2 Todd Hutchins. I feel like I'm crazy saying it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go 3-2 Todd Hutchins. First 2 rounds to Matt Mask. Last 3 rounds to Todd Hutchins. First round, flash pin hit, done. Matt Mask jumping all around the table, going crazy, 1-0. Second round, hit, stop 1 inch off the pad. Matt Mask has to regrip. Matt Mask hits again. Second surge, gets the pin. But little look on Matt Mask's face appears. Little look of, my shoulder and my pec and my arm got a little bit of work that time. Round 3, similar hit off the go. Down to, instead of 1 inch from the pad, this time 2 inches from the pad. This time, second surge doesn't work. This time, we see Matt starting to look for a press. As soon as he stands up to look for a press, side pressure comes in. Matt Mask goes back to the top roll. Hit. Can't quite get the pin. Side pressure starts to come through. Matt Mask starts to panic. Matt Mask starts to look for a hook. Goes into a hook. Todd Hutchins stares at the crowd. Todd Hutchins stares back at Matt Mask. Todd Hutchins wins 2-1. And from there, you can only imagine how it would go. If that happens in round 3, ladies and gentlemen, Todd Hutchins will win this match. I hope it does, because it will be epic. It will be absolutely epic if it unfolds like that, and it will be absolutely worthy of the main event card. WAL 502. Ladies and gentlemen, it is happening in 48 hours from now. May 16th at Baltimore. You want to be there if you are going to be watching. Do it on BR Live if you're in North America. Head to fanseat.com if you are outside North America, so you too can watch it live. I'll be watching it live, 100%. I'll be watching it live. So there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into this live prediction show. To everybody who is here, thank you very much. Hit share for me. Hit like for me. Make sure you subscribe. Also, we've got a new Patreon account if you want to support Pound for Pound Arm Wrestling to the next level. As you can see, this episode was brought to you by Next Level Apparel. So thank you to Next Level. And guys, check out the Patreon site, patreon.com/Pound for Pound Arm Wrestling, where you too can be a direct supporter of the brand and the business and keep that mission going for arm wrestling to grow. All right, ladies and gents, thank you so much. And I will see you guys after 5:02.